So I got my amplitude values. I graphed amplitude on the x-axis, period on the y-axis. And then I went into Desmos. I did my graph. And then I'm just going to sketch it very briefly here. And again, it was basically just a set of straight dots. Something like that. And then just a fairly flat dashed line. So that would be my amplitude graph. I would need to do two more. I would need to do one for mass and one for length. And I would do it the same way. But I would need to make a new thing in Desmos. So I would need to make a new graph. Okay? So I would need to make a new blank graph and just go from there. Okay? So that's the idea of what you're doing for the graphing part. Once you've got the graph taken care of, now you're ready to do the analysis. So explain the results of the experiment, i.e. what effect your independent variable had on your dependent variable. Use your graphs as evidence in your explanation. So let's go into amplitude together. Okay, so for amplitude, here's what it would look like. I'm looking at my graph, and my graph is a flat line. That tells me there's no effect. So what I would say is amplitude has no effect on the period of a pendulum because the graph showed a flat line. So that's what my amplitude one would look like. Okay? So amplitude has no effect on the period of a pendulum because the graph showed a flat line. Okay? So that's what you're doing. You're going to need to do mass and length as a group. Okay? So do the same thing. Put mass on the x-axis, put period on the y-axis, see what it gives you. Okay? Length. Put length on the x-axis, put period on the y-axis, and see what it gives you. Okay? So you'll have three of these, amplitude, mass, length. And they'll all either say no effect, directly proportional, or inversely proportional. Directly proportional will be a slope up. Inversely proportional will be a slope down. Okay? All right, then for the conclusion. So write a paragraph that answers the following questions in detail. First one, what is the purpose of the lab? Directly from the purpose in section 1. So you go to section 1, you find your purpose, you copy it down. That's step 1. Okay. Step 2, briefly state the results of the experiment. So this is directly from the analysis section. One sentence. So you're going to tell me, what did you learn? I'm going to learn amplitude had no effect. So you would say the results of the experiment were amplitude had no effect on the period of the pendulum, mass had whatever, length had whatever. Okay, so one sentence explaining that. Okay, how accurate were your hypotheses? You're going to talk about each variable you tested, so you're going to go to the front page, you're going to go to your hypothesis, and you're going to see what you thought would happen. And you're just going to tell me, what did you think would happen? What did you learn? What was it that you thought would happen? Okay, then you're going to tell me why you think you got the results you did. So for each of the results that you got, for each of your hypotheses, why do you think that is? So why do you think amplitude didn't matter? Well, not why did you think. You may have thought amplitude did matter. Why didn't amplitude matter? You're going to write that down for the why. And then lastly, you're going to talk about errors. What were some errors in the lab? 1 to 2 sentences explaining what errors there would be. Okay? All right. That's what you're going to do for this part on the lab. When you finish the lab, bring it up and give it to me, or call me over and have me look at it, but I want to go through it and look at it with you to make sure you've got everything taken care of. Make sure you did the graphs the right way, make sure you did the analysis the right way, make sure you did the conclusion the right way, make sure you do all those things the right way. And then I'll check you off. And then I'll check you off, and you can get started on Lab B, which you picked up. So Lab A needs to be the focus. You need to get Lab A done first, and you should try to finish that before you leave if you can. I think most of you will be able to. Okay? So go ahead and get started there. Lab A, start working through the conclusion, the graphing, and the analysis, and then see what you can come up with. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you and talk about it with you.